You're listening to the only podcast for Texas AirHogs and American Association Baseball. This is Hog Heaven with your host, Tim Costello, and co-host, Zachary Lee. Welcome into Hog Heaven here on your AirHogs Broadcast Network. Take it away, Tim.
Welcome back into another episode of Hog Heaven. Hi, I am Tim Costello, joined with the realtor of the AirHogs, Cathy Alexander. Cathy, welcome into the studio.
Thank you, Tim. It's great to be here.
Absolutely great to have you here. You're actually the first guest we have here in the live studio, so I hope you feel pretty honored and welcome as well.
Oh, absolutely, Tim. I'm pretty overwhelmed, and thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. So, Cathy, you had a chance to help find the AirHogs a place to live this season. I know at first we kind of went into it thinking it would be a little easier than it was, but yeah. Talk a little bit about that and how you were able to help find a home for some of these AirHogs players this summer.
Well, as you know, Tim, you kind of had to walk me through the beginning of how to talk to people about what you were doing, because you had kind of a special deal. And then there was a lot of legwork involved, and I visited with several different apartment complexes, but finally we hit pay dirt and we found the right place, and I know you said that you really love it, and I'm so glad, and I'm honored that you asked me, Tim, that you asked me to help you with that.
We were happy that you were able to help us, but really you don't do a lot of apartment stuff most of the time, right? You do a lot of helping people buy and sell their homes, whether it's the first time you're buying one or all the kids have left the house and now you want to go into something a little bit smaller. What's your process like for your typical client when they come in looking to either buy or sell a house?
Well, that is true, what you say. So I do work by referral. So when I have someone that's referred to me, then I get together with them at the office. And my brokerage office is in Grand Prairie. And so we'll meet there and we'll talk about what it is that they need. If they're going to sell their house, then I go ahead and meet them at their home and work through the whole process of what they can expect from me and what I will offer them and the services I provide. For my buyers, we talk about what cities do you want to look in, how close to work do you want to be, is the school system important to you, which of course to the younger families it is, and then I walk them through the transaction process, and we go from there. It's fairly complicated. Buying real estate is a complicated process, but I try to make it as simple and uncomplicated as I can so that there's the least amount of frustration for my clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, it's kind of in a seller's market for the last couple of years. What kind of things are you telling people who are selling their houses to make sure that they're getting top dollar for it, the house looks great, it pops to those potential buyers' eyes? What are you recommending to your clients?
So I have a stager, and I like to recommend that they do that if they feel like they are not real good at decorating or not quite sure what to do with the house. I like to recommend that we make sure the house is as clean as possible. The stager, of course, will help to get rid of some clutter that might be in the home. And then we look at the condition. Do we need to do any painting? I have a professional photographer that comes in once we get all of that done, and he takes awesome pictures for the listing, because the better the pictures are, then of course the more buyers that we're going to bring in.
Yeah. So how did you get into this? I know it's not something you've done for your whole life. What is it that drew you to real estate? Why did you want to get involved in something like this?
It's pretty crazy. So 5 years ago, I decided that I needed to make more money, and what I was doing in network marketing wasn't really quite enough. And so I looked around and I said, well, I could sell cars. Too hot in Texas to stand out in a parking lot and sell cars. That was my vision of what it would be like to sell cars in Texas. Oh, I know, I'll sell houses, because I can sit in a nice open house, a nice mansion, and I could sit there dressed up and I could sell that house. And that's what I thought real estate was all about. And it's actually not. It's a little more complicated than that. But fast forward to now, 4 years plus as a realtor, and I love it. And as my manager says, Cathy, you were born for this. So I love it. And it's not about the properties, it's about the people.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
all about the people.
When you first started getting into this industry, when did you realize that you found your niche? This was something you really enjoyed doing, helping people find a place to live that they love and they want to come home to every single night.
Well, after I passed the state and the national exams and got through that nail-biting time, probably within the first year, after I'd had a couple of transactions under my belt, then I realized how wonderful it is, and that, like I said, it's not about this house or that house or how much this house cost. It is about the people, and I've always been a people person. When I was in network marketing before, I was in sales. So I knew when I left that career that I had to go into something that had to do with people. So I found my niche.
I feel like nowadays we're starting to see this trend, and I've noticed it with my parents as well. When kids leave the home, you sell the bigger house, and they're into the metro high-rise living right now. Is that something you're starting to see a little bit more? Is the empty nesters don't want that big house anymore? They're looking for something more in the middle of everything. Let's have some fun and enjoy our lives.
Very true, very true. There's some great places in Grand Prairie that offer those amenities for 50 plus people, and Fort Worth, a lot of people are gravitating towards the Trinity River downtown area. There's some great places there, and then I hear that there's some in Dallas too. You know, you get to an age where you don't want to cut the grass anymore. You don't want to spend the money to have someone come out and cut your grass. Tired of paying to get those trees trimmed. You know, come on, baby, let's downsize. Let's get in where we can go to the Dallas Farmers Market or take our bikes down the Trinity River in Fort Worth and just have fun for the remainder of our lives. And the kids are gone, and if we get a smaller place, guess what? There'll be no room for them to come back to. So an added plus.
Yeah, you mentioned that. My mom's only got one spare bedroom now, so my brother and I are going to be duking it out over
Yes, you
over
will.
who gets a bed and who's couch crashing when we go visit for Thanksgiving.
She was very strategic when she bought that.
Just a little bit, yeah. Let's talk a little bit more about you though, because you've been kind of getting into the Western dancing hill a little bit lately. What are we? A
Right.
little two-step, boot scoot and boogie? Where are we at?
Yeah, so I am getting a whirlwind tour of some dance clubs in Dallas-Fort Worth. So now I frequent Cowboys Red River, where I learn progressive double two-step, and Rodeo Exchange, which is in the historic Stockyards, downtown Fort Worth, and I love that. Learning Fort Worth Shuffle. Let's see, then there's Electric Cowboy in Louisville, and what are we doing there? West Coast Swing. And there's one other one, I can't think of it right now. So there's 4 different dance clubs that I've been going to. And this morning, someone that we know, Gina Cannon from the Chamber, I didn't get to read the article yet, but she posted, she put my name on it and said, Cathy, look at this. Dancing stops aging in the brain. So I've got to read that article, so that's very good.
I saw that this morning as well, too.
Did you?
It honestly made me think of you because you've been doing so much. I see on Facebook
4 or
you're
5
at one
nights
club
a week.
one night. Yeah.
Yes, 4 or 5 nights a week now, and it's good to have an outlet that's not real estate related. That's my own personal thing that I really enjoy. But of course, I've always got my business cards handy so that if I meet somebody, you know, we do want to kind of plug it in a little bit. But I really enjoy the dancing.
Absolutely. You talk about meeting people, though. Seems like DFW, Texas in general, is one of those places people are just flocking to.
Yes.
You know, what are the recommendations you make to someone looking to come to this area? Obviously, we recommend you choose Cathy to help you find your house. But after that, you know, what are you recommending? I know you mentioned to look at school districts, stuff like that. But, you know, Grand Prairie's blowing up. Arlington's blowing up. There's so many cool places to live around here right now.
Absolutely. There is. So most people are going to look at, Tim, they're going to look at where they work. And so they've got it in their mind, how far away, how long do they want to travel? And as you and I both know, we have to look it up in the morning.
Yes.
How long is it going to take me to get to this destination? So that really is vitally important. And if someone says, oh, I want to live 10 minutes from work, then we really need to look at, that's not 10 minutes away.
Yes.
So we need to be thinking about the commute. So that's really, really important. And then, of course, my clients, if they've got kids, they need to look at the school districts. They've got to look at the ratings and see what they want. Look at the safety of the neighborhood and how they feel about that. And of course, the price is very important, and pre-approval letters, got to have that, from your lender before we go out and shop, because nowadays, at least in Dallas-Fort Worth, if the realtor doesn't have a pre-approval letter for their buyer, then the listing agent is not going to consider the offer. So that's very important. And I have a lender, so I have a couple different lenders, so we can connect them with that as well.
Absolutely. And real quickly, Cathy, if anyone in the area is interested in using you for either buying or selling a home, how would they get in touch with you?
Well, they can email me at Cathy Alexander at judgefight.com, and that's Cathy with a C.
And I think that's on the screen right now as well for everybody, too.
Great. And my cell number is 817-437-0847, so they can call or text me. My brokerage is on South Carrier Parkway in Grand Prairie, Century 21, Judge Fight. They can call the office, and right now I don't remember the number there, Tim, but you can Google it.
Well, there we go. We appreciate you coming in, and also everything you do here in the South DFW, Grand Prairie, Arlington area. I know you bring a lot of new families into our area, and we're very appreciative of not only that, but everything you do for the AirHogs as well.
Well, thank you, Tim, and I want to say thank you because you've let us use your suite now several times. And our friends in the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce have really been enjoying that. So have some of my clients and friends, and I just want to say thank you again for that. You've made it an awesome season.
It's our pleasure. We're glad you got to enjoy. I feel like some of the best games of the season you were in the house for.
Yay!
Awesome. We appreciate you. We'll be right back on Hog Heaven after this.
Attention AirHogs fans, have you still not gotten your 2020 season pass? Well, why not? For only $150, you get in the gate for all 50 home games, including playoffs. That's just $3 a game. It's affordable fun the whole family can enjoy. For more information on season passes or booking your next group outing, contact Zach or Kelsey at zlee@texasairhogs.com or karmond@texasairhogs.com. We look forward to seeing you in 2020.
Welcome back into Hog Heaven. We are joined now with the general manager of your Texas AirHogs, Nate Gutierrez. Nate, welcome into the program.
Tim, thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to being in the studio on the video, and I'm glad I'm finally getting that chance to sit down and do that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're appreciative of you for kind of making this all happen for us. I know you're a big believer in really utilizing social media and utilizing what are your strengths to bring people to your organization. So kind of talk a little bit about why you feel like something like this for the AirHogs really is important.
Yeah, I think anytime you're trying to sell anything, promote any idea, do anything of such, you're going to need attention from others. I think when you're going about getting that attention, you look at the conventional channels, TV, outdoor billboards, and then the other one's social media, which is a lot of where our fans, our supporters reside a lot of their time now. Obviously, we're become phone-centric, computer-centric on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. So it's essential for us as a team to get our message out that way, let our fans know about upcoming promotions, games, tickets. But then, in this case, what we're doing in the off-season, and there's no better way for us to do that currently than through social media, and this setup allows us to do that at scale a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's talk a little bit about your path to get to this spot as a general manager, right? You're from the DFW area. You spent some time in New York as a kid watching Mets games, riding the subway to get there. You come back to DFW. You've got Rangers baseball. How did we get to where we are now, where you're running a baseball team?
Yeah, I think it starts from before I was even born. I'd say I'm a family that was well entrenched in baseball. I have two uncles that played. One of them all the way up to professional as a catcher. My dad played. All my cousins played. So it was ingrained from an early age that I would be playing the game. So I did that for as long as I could. Then I knew the next logical step would be to go find a job in the real world for whatever that meant. I knew it was going to be somewhere in sports. Kind of started asking around the local sports teams, what are the opportunities available. Came to find out that you got to be able to sell. You got to be able to get butts and seats. It's a lot more than just kind of show up and watch the game and enjoy. So I started the process of learning sports at that point, more than just playing. But you apply a lot of the same ethics of hard work, discipline, in doing such. And I started that process. I stayed true to the path. I knew that this is what I wanted to do from an early age. I wasn't really going to let anything deter me, and here we are.
One of the things, once you started with the AirHogs, it was as an intern, right? And I think that really reflects in the way you handle our internships now. Why is, in sports specifically, the internship so important?
Well, I think it's important because the people who are in these positions don't like to give them up. Like, a lot of them are similar story to me, knew this is what they wanted to do from a young age. I think yourself included, you were very keen on being a broadcaster from a young age. Now that you have that opportunity, it's unlikely for you to come off that position easily. So I think when you factor in the internships, it's an opportunity to get your foot in the door and show what your skills are, what you can bring to the table other than just some good stuff on paper. It allows the decision makers, those who are in those positions, to get hands-on look at what you bring to the table, your work ethic, your passion. I think a lot of those things come out through an internship when you're not getting paid, when it's really about the love of what you're doing. And getting back to my story personally, why I started here unpaid was because this is what I wanted to do. This is something I knew at all costs. I wanted to be in baseball. I wanted to work in this environment. And the best way for me to, at the time I should say, best way for me to show my skills, show my love and passion for wanting to do this was show up for free, try to do your sales, make the most of the opportunity you have, and see where it goes.
You know, a lot of times when people hear the term general manager, they're assuming you're calling up other teams, making trades, signing free agents. That's really not the case anywhere except Major League Baseball for the most part. You have some say in, you know, when you tell Billy, I'd like you to look into a guy, but your day-to-day job really has very little to do with what happens on the field as a product goes. Is that something that you realized when you finished your internship or going into your internship? When did you realize the difference between a Major League GM and a minor league GM?
Yeah, I think when I got here, it was the best understanding for me of the structure of this team specifically, kind of the other teams in our league. And then from that, you look into the other minor league affiliations. How do they do it? What do they do? And like you said, you come to realize that in our case, a lot in minor league baseball, the general manager is associated with business and the fan experience and a lot of those factors that aren't related to the product on the field. And in affiliated ball, obviously, their general managers aren't picking the players because the major league teams are kind of deciding for them, helping allocate the players where they go. In our case, we do have a player of baseball personnel, Billy Martin, who does call the other teams, who does make all those things happen on that front. But of course, I do get involved in some regards when it comes to the details, the finer workings of said transactions, said signings. But yeah, I think like you said, it's some assumptions from my role can put me in precarious situations sometimes when a player approaches me regarding such. But for the most part, I let Billy handle that. I try to grow the team, grow the fan experience, and we work close together on all things. So
you mentioned growing in the team. You know, the AirHogs really showed a lot of improvement both over last year to this year and then first half of this year to the second half of this year. This was your first time in the big seat as a GM. What was it like for you to watch a team just get better every single day? Because realistically, that's your goal for your team as a sales team as well.
Absolutely. It is my goal. And we had a meeting today, and I kind of talked about if you want to do something special, you got to make special efforts. And I think when you think about the Chinese national team, they're wanting to do something special that's unprecedented on their front, on their side of the world, sending their players over here to a foreign country. And I think that's with the attempt to be great. It's really, and when you see others willing to take that effort, to jump off that deep end and really go for it, it's kind of inspiring from a 30,000-foot view to be placed onto my staff. I want to tell you guys to be special, be great, go after it. Let's get better every day. It's one step at a time, process. A lot of the things that we talk about from a front office are the same things being said on the field for those guys, and it's cool to watch. And I'm sure that they, in the same tandem, appreciate us trying to support the team and grow it from our end as well.
So it's kind of interesting that China is the only team that does this with baseball, because you and I were talking the other day, there's actually a pro softball league where a couple different countries have teams represented in this pro softball league. Do you see maybe down the line some other teams baseball-wise wanting to do something like this?
I don't want to even kind of make those assumptions, but I think it would be really cool. I would like to see it per se. Growing the game at any level. I mean, even when I see a new local kid pick up a bat and ball, and anytime that we are able to grow bat and ball sport, that's the goal of mine personally. But I think as an organization, as a league, that's what we're trying to do, is expand the game across countries, across communities, across cities, and all those. I think when you see an opportunity like ours play out, we're going into the third year now to what I would call a successful partnership. I think it opens the doors for more countries to look into it, more organizations to be willing to take this chance. Obviously, us being the first is something they can learn from, but it's been fun to be the first and to grow that game, and I hopefully set the standard for other teams and countries to do such going forward.
I think you already are starting to see some of the results of the globalization of the game, where Israel qualified for the Olympics. Only 6 teams are qualifying, and they're one of those 6. That's a huge first step for some of those, if you want to look at it in the college football terms, the non-Power 5, right? Because China's trying to kick in the door on a pretty strong division with Japan and Korea already there, 2 of the, I'd say, top 5 baseball leagues in the world, and they're trying to usurp those guys to take a qualifying spot. So I think your point of, if you want to do something spectacular, you have to have spectacular efforts, really makes sense for what China's trying to do.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's a testament to the game and risk-taking and growing as a team. I think all of those kind of play out together when this is on a grand scale, but they've partnered with us to entrust us with growing their players, developing the game internationally, and hopefully that plays out to them qualifying for the Olympics, because I know if they did, that would be extremely cool for us, for me and you to watch, for me and you to say we were a part of. And for their end, ideally they would be appreciative of the efforts that we put to help them get to that point. I think it'd be cool for everybody.
We'll get you out of here on this one, Nate. This was obviously, like I said, your first season as a general manager. There was a lot of highs in this year. Do you have one specifically when you think back across the season that you remember, one performance or one night specifically?
Tough question. I wish you would have gave me a little heads up. But I think the reality is, on the season, everything was a first for me as a GM. I got my first win as a GM. I got my first walk-off win, my first even loss, per se. I think everything, when you factor in a first, it's always memorable. And when I look back, ideally, in a couple of years or many years to where this all started, it was here in Grand Prairie with this team, with this staff. And I think that's essentially what I always remember, that this was the original group that kind of started this venture for me. And I couldn't be more appreciative to do it with you guys, with this team, with this situation in the Chinese national team. And I look forward to continuing it to grow and make memories and continue to embrace this whole experience with everyone.
Well, that's a great answer, Nate. We appreciate your time. We know you're a busy guy. We'll be right back on Hog Heaven after this.
Attention AirHogs fans, have you still not gotten your 2020 season pass? Well, why not? For only $150, you get in the gate for all 50 home games, including playoffs. That's just $3 a game. It's affordable fun the whole family can enjoy. For more information on season passes or booking your next group outing, contact Zach or Kelsey at zlee@texasairhogs.com or karmond@texasairhogs.com. We look forward to seeing you in 2020.
Welcome back in. We are live in Hog Heaven. Tim Costello with his producer, Zachary Lee.
How's it going, everyone?
Zach, I was scrolling through the old LinkedIn feed this week, and I noticed China's expanding not just into the baseball world and softball world. They made a deal here locally with the Texas Stars to play hockey and get ready for the 2022 Olympics.
Definitely is something just popped up with us, and lo and behold, who is right at the center of all of it but our very own Donnie Nelson, the owner of the AirHogs, who had quite a big hand in getting Team China here with the AirHogs, now has a big hand in getting the Chinese national team over there with the Texas Stars, whom he also happens to own. So not too big a surprise here for us hearing, hey, he's got those hookups over there in China, and he's always looking to add.
No, but still really cool just to see how seriously the nation of China is taking the upcoming Olympics, right?
Definitely.
Huge competition, They're wanting to be ready to go for baseball. They're playing in American leagues. They're part of a league for softball, and now they're part of a league for hockey. So I always like the Olympics. Everyone's always looking forward to the Olympics, but I feel like this upcoming group of Olympics has a little bit more, something going for it, a little more excitement going into it.
Definitely for us having, we work with it, all the time. We're working with Team China here in baseball on a near daily schedule, and now you got them looking to make a bigger push for the hockey team. I think it's really exciting, especially just considering how new all of it is. We were talking earlier, the Chinese hockey team didn't even start till September of last year, so they now have a full year under their belt. But you got to think there's a lot of inexperience that comes just a year, in their small amount of time being around. So I'm interested to see how well they perform and just how well the partnership moves forward. From what I understand, they're not going to be playing games with the Texas Stars the way they play here. It's more of just training with the Texas Stars, but I'm still interested to see what that can do for Team China.
I think you're absolutely right. I love the fact that we're globalizing sports in general. Yep. I love what we're doing in baseball. Obviously, this is our bread and butter. We work in the industry every single day, but sports as a whole have a way of bringing people together, whether it's one city, one country. In the World Cup, everyone's rooting for Team USA. In the Olympics, everyone's rooting for their country. But now we're on this world stage where in between these international competitions, we're coming together to make everyone in the world involved and playing it. And it's so cool that we're kind of here in the DFW area at the center of globalizing not just baseball, not just softball, and not just hockey, but sports in general.
Exactly. I mean, that's really what the Olympics are about, is about using sports to bring people together in a global sense. And I think it's really cool that what we do here every day is facilitating that in a large part, is helping Team China, a team who typically, especially when it comes to baseball, hasn't been very relevant on the global stage, but, those qualifiers are coming up. We can see whether or not they're going to make it, whether or not they move forward. We'll really get to see how much those guys have gained from playing here the last 2, going on 3 years in the American Association.
It will be exciting to watch, and I look forward to it. Let's, real quickly, Zach, we're kind of coming up here on the end of the program, but before we do, I really want to talk a lot about what's going on that baseball field behind you for the 315 days that we don't have AirHogs games out here, right? Because there's a 50-game schedule. We've got some spring training. If the team makes the playoffs, we'll say in total about 70 days this season will encompass as far as dates being used. But there's still, even at that, 295 days where we don't have necessarily an AirHogs game to be played. So our facility is open and ready to be used any single day, whether it's for a corporate softball game. I have a company doing a Christmas party out here this year. We have a college team practicing. Yeah, we had a charity. I think it was a 5K on Saturday. Which one of the cool things about doing a 5K here with the AirHogs, everything's inside the stadium. You don't have to pay police to mark off a route. You don't have to pay for porta potties. You've got our bathroom facilities. You've got a sound system. You've got the video board. We can do a lot of really cool things, Zach, for a lot of different organizations.
I mean, there's a soccer field out there in the outfield. I don't think a lot of people realize that. We've got it marked off. We've got a couple soccer goals. The Texas United professional soccer team plays here all season long. Up until recently, you had Irving FC playing here, but we have the facilities to host a soccer team and fill the stadium with a lot of fans. It's a great opportunity for more than just baseball.
No, absolutely. I like to say we're a convention center that happens to just play baseball. So don't be afraid to reach out if you have any questions about using our facility. Like I said, company outing, business meetings. We can do on-field batting practice, things like that. Don't be afraid to ask. We love bringing people onto the stadium, whether it's for a game or whatever it is that your event is. We love to be the host of things like that.
Agreed. We just love using it. We love using this facility. At any day, no one's out there on the field playing. Feels like a wasted day.
I couldn't agree with you more. Real quickly, Zach, I want to take the time to thank everyone who joined us today on the program. Cathy Alexander, Century 21 Judge Fight. She has been a godsend to the AirHogs baseball team, helped us find housing not only for the team, for myself as well, and we look forward to working with her again next year. Nate Gutierrez, the GM of the ball club, sat in and joined us as well. Next week, we're going to have Travis Ballou, one of the pitchers from the Texas AirHogs, and we hope to also sit down with Justin Bird and Matt Dean from the ball club in 2019. That's going to do it for us on Hog Heaven here today. I'm Tim Costello. He's Zachary Lee. We appreciate you tuning in.